Hey guys, Scarlet Darkwood here. Hope everyone's had a good week. Thank you for joining me. One of my videos starts with crafting a story, and it's part 1. And we talked about getting educated, reading books, and different things on the craft of writing, because it's good to start writing having some of that knowledge under your belt, knowing how to present things, how much detail should you include, developing your characters, your world, a language if you need to, things like that. What do you do when you're ready to start writing? I remember when I started, I got the education, I got some general ideas. I looked at Holly Lisle's clinic bundles, and I included links to that on her Amazon page. I gave the names of the courses, and those are good places to start. There's tons of writing books on the internet, writing courses, ways you can educate yourself. So when you start, you have an idea somewhat of how you should do it. You're always learning. That's the one thing to remember. You're always learning, always developing every time you write something. Your first works will probably be very different from your later works, or I should say that in reverse. Your later works will be different. They'll seem more developed, more polished. That's just kind of the way it goes. It's just the way things go. You start out, you're a beginner, you get more seasoned, you get more comfortable at it, you get more ideas, and you just do things differently. Once you've got the education and you're just itching to start, and you'll feel it in your gut, I know I did, it's time to start thinking about, what do I want to write about? How do I get my ideas? For a lot of people, they may already have a general idea. If you do, that's great. For those who don't, I would suggest you take your inspiration from artwork, from Pinterest, DeviantArt, magazines, go for a walk, look at nature, look at different quotes, tarot cards. I use those a lot to get ideas. You look at a really well illustrated deck that has more detail in it, just to give you ideas. And you may think, do I want to write about a person, a group of people? Do I want to write about machines taking over the world? You think about your main ideas. A character versus something else. A machine, nature, another character. Perhaps you want to write about revenge, or you want to write about growth or transformation. If you get on the internet, you can look at plots. So one thing to always remember, plots are the elements or the scenes that drive the story forward. So what you find on the internet is not necessarily plots, but great ideas for conflicts, or great ideas for a synopsis for your book. Man versus nature, man versus man, man versus the machines. Growth and transformation, revenge, discovery, anything like that. When I first started, I had 2 elements in mind. I had a woman and an insane asylum. That was the only thing I had in my head. And I actually got the insane asylum part from Ghost Adventures. If any of you have ever watched that on TV, yes, Zach Bagans is a hottie. I like that show. I haven't watched it in a while, but that's where I got the idea, because the very first show that I saw is these guys, Zach and his friends, ghost hunting in an insane asylum. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum was the name of the place they were reaching out to ghosts. So anyway, being from a psych background, I thought how interesting to do something with an insane asylum. You can always do something that's your traditional horror or your ghost type of story, but I knew there were 2 books I wanted to write on that. And I came up with 2. And I decided to start writing the erotica one first. So woman and insane asylum. And I decided that from an erotic approach, I wanted to use it as a place where the house in Pleasure House and the House Tales, though it was an insane asylum, there was a secret side or another side to this house where it taught training in pleasures of the flesh. That it could teach people to grow and become more powerful that way. Not in an abusive way, but just to understand and accept that part of themselves and to use that as a way to help flesh out or round out part of a relationship as they left the place and got back out into the community. So that's how I came up with Pleasure House. I came up with Rose and I came up with the house, and that's where I started. That was my basic idea, and I took it from there, and we'll have other videos on what I did from that point. The other book is Escape from Purgatory, Woman Asylum. In this case, there is no adventures of the flesh in that one. It's a basic romance, but it also has those sad, horrific elements too. It's more of a realistic type story, but it is about Claire and how she finds herself suddenly abandoned in the insane asylum, how she handles it, and what happens, you know, through her whole adventure through that. Not a very good adventure. So there were two different stories, but same type of idea, Woman Asylum. When I was part of a publishing company and I was invited to write for an anthology, the theme was the animal. And it was marrying erotica with horror. So all the authors had to write that type of story. So just that alone, people were able to come up with just different ideas using those concepts. So the next step into getting your idea is what genre do you want to put that in? Do you want to put it in horror, romance, science fiction, romantic comedy, Victorian, noir, whatever you want to put it in, because that's going to dictate how you continue fleshing out that story to fit that genre. So if you're wanting to practice, sit down and think of a couple of idea points and get just a general idea on what you would like to write. Where would you like to start? And in the next videos, we will go a little bit farther. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments. If you like my videos, click the bell. If you like to drink tea, please click my affiliate link for Club Magic Tea. It's fantastic, it's relaxing, it might help you get some good story ideas. Thank you for joining me. Get those ideas going. Happy writing and happy reading.